All right, recently I just went on a vacation to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Left from Hampton Roads, Virginia, drove straight through North Carolina, all the way to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. But now getting to Gatlinburg, and once we got there, I wasn't expecting the actual places, the log cabins to be on the hills that they were on. You know, it was pretty extreme. That was pretty steep. And I drive a 2022 X5, and you know, we had some issues getting up those hills. I wouldn't say issues, but you can hear, you know, the car wouldn't get out of first gear going up those hills. It was actually quite a bit of, you know, something to get there. But the valleys and all of that, I mean, once you get into Tennessee and you see the streams going, the whitewater rapids and the mountains and the hills, it's breathtaking. Then once we get there, you know, we take a tour of the cabin. We ordered a cabin on Airbnb, and it was just as advertised. I mean, the main house had 2 bedrooms in it. And then there was a second unit, which was the game room, which was also doubled as a living space area or bedroom. Had a pool table in there, bunk bed, PlayStation, a TV. And other than that, it was a wide open area where you can play games. And so each bedroom had its own bathroom. So, you know, bedroom 1, master bedroom, had a queen bedroom or king bed, and that had its own bathroom. But it was also shared. That was also the public bathroom that was shared if you stayed in the living room. And then you had the second bedroom, which was in the back on the other side of the living room, that also had its own bathroom. And then the living room had a pull-out couch as well. Kitchen, there was laundry, you know, washer and dryer. There was a outdoor, like a gazebo, and there was a wraparound deck. And there was also a jacuzzi there as well. So all the amenities were there. We even had access to the pool, which was ran by the association. Did not use the pool, didn't use the jacuzzi, but we had access to all of it. Now, the second day of our trip, that's when we went into town. So we went to go look for something to eat on that very first day, and we wound up in Pigeon Forge. We were no longer in Gatlinburg. Pigeon Forge was the next town over from Gatlinburg. Pigeon Forge is beautiful. It seems to me to be a strictly vacation spot. There's a strip. That strip in Pigeon Forge is nothing but stores, hotels, amusements, attractions, things like that. I mean, it's just all up and down a strip on Pigeon Forge. And it was a sight. It's kind of like being on a major strip, maybe like something like Myrtle Beach or Virginia Beach, the strip at Virginia Beach, or any place like that where there's gonna be a lot of attractions and tourist area. Pigeon Forge is just designed for tourists. The breakfast spot was called Cottage Brunch, and it is a lovely spot. Never ate any place like that before. This is a great breakfast spot. Normally, I'm someone who likes to find a Metro diner or something like that and eat there. But the Cottage Brunch, I will say, the atmosphere, the openness of the whole space was amazing. Great menu, good drinks that they have there, custom coffees that you can get, iced coffees, regular hot coffees, chais, teas. I mean, they had the whole works there. And the atmosphere, like I said, was just amazing. The wait staff was really good as well. So definitely enjoyed that spot. So after we left the breakfast spot, we drove back to Gatlinburg, and there we went to the Gatlinburg Aquarium. Now that aquarium is my first time going to the Gatlinburg Aquarium. And I've been to the aquarium in Atlanta, and I've been to the aquarium in Virginia Beach out here in Hampton Roads. And I enjoyed those aquariums. I think the Gatlinburg Aquarium was pretty good. It just, to me, wasn't as good as the aquarium that's in Atlanta, or even the one that we have in Virginia Beach. Nice aquarium, 2 levels, and they even had a penguin exhibit, which I think was probably the best part of the aquarium for me, was the penguin exhibit. They do have sharks and everything like that. They had some humongous crabs and lobsters in there. I've never seen crabs that size before, or lobsters that big before. Huge crabs and lobsters. I almost had to question whether they're real or not. But the penguin exhibit, I think, was the major exhibit for that area. And penguins were really nice. Yeah, my daughters definitely enjoyed seeing the penguins there. And then from there, after the aquarium, we went to Ripley's, believe it or not. Now the aquarium is also Ripley's. It's Ripley's Aquarium. But from there we went to Ripley's, believe it or not, which is the same Ripley's, believe it or not, that you would get in other areas where you have the different attractions, the wax sculptures and things like that, which is really cool. You know, they have 3 levels at their Ripley's, believe it or not, in Gatlinburg. And we explored all the different levels of that Ripley's, believe it or not. And from there, we went to the Mirror Maze, which was also done by Ripley's. And that was a pretty cool experience. I don't think I've ever done a Mirror Maze before. Walked into some walls quite a few times, trying to navigate my way through the maze at Ripley's. But it was definitely an awesome experience. And from there, we just walked up and down the strip, took in some of the foods there. I mean, there's just so much to do up and down that strip in Gatlinburg. I don't think that you can get bored out there. Between Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, you'll find yourself with endless entertainment. We went and saw some bears. So we were hoping to see bears in their natural habitat, like probably around the cabin that we stayed, or in the mountains somewhere while we were driving along. Didn't get a chance to see any bears that way. But there is a store that has some bears. They have a bear exhibit in the back. Now, from what I heard, these were bears that had been rescued, and that's where they live now, in that particular store, which they have an enclosure for them where people could come see bears. It was supposed to be 3 bears. We saw 2 bears there, which is fine. They seemed like they were younger bears, but it was pretty cool. That's one of the things that my daughter really wanted to see. Now, that particular store looks like it's multiple stores, but it's one big store. I don't know the name of the store, but it is pretty big. And from the outside, it looks like a shopping center of multiple stores, but it's actually one store. It's just the way that they have the face of the store makes it look like it's multiple stores, but it's actually one. From there, we went to Anarchista. Now, Anarchista, I would say, is probably like the major attraction that they have in Gatlinburg. You take the gondola up to the top of the mountain peak, and there's a little town up there that has a bunch of different things that you can do. A few of the things that we did after the gondola ride was the treetop. It's a treetop bridge. So pretty much with that treetop bridge, you walk on this kind of like this wooden bridge, kind of like the stuff you would see in like Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider, those type of bridges. And that just takes you around the entire park area or the entire mountain area. It's a pretty long walk around that bridge. But you take that bridge around, it winds up taking you all the way back to the beginning of the park or the Anarchista area. Then there's also this mountain coaster where you ride down a roller coaster on a mountain. It's not powered by any like chains or pulleys or anything. It's just gravity down, and you have a handbrake where you can, pull the handbrake and stop yourself or slow yourself down if you feel like you're getting too fast. From there, we also did the American taste test thing that they have, where we bought 5 taste samples, and you go to these different stations that are labeled with different states, and you pretty much taste the food. It's paid for. You've already paid for it. There's drinks, there's snacks, there's foods at different sections, and you go taste those and you get to eat those. And then we also paid for the light show at the end of the day or the end of the night. Now, mind you, we got to this place at around 2:30-ish in the afternoon. We didn't leave until probably about 10 o'clock that evening because we wanted to wait for that light show. So we were there all day on that mountaintop. There's another thing called the Vista Garden, which there's a little kids area up there. And then all the way at the top of Vista Garden, there's this huge tower I want to say it's like 3 or 4 stories up, and you walk up steps 3 or 4 stories, and you're at the top of this tower, and you can see, and mind you, you're already on a mountain, but now you're 3 or 4 stories at the top of a mountain on a tower, and you're looking at the views from that angle, and it's amazing. I mean, you're talking about one side, you can see the entire strip, the main strip out there in Gatlinburg. Another side, you see houses in the mountains. Another side, you see the entire park. And then you see some other areas out there. I mean, it is just breathtaking views out there. So that was an adventure for us as well. Another thing that we did was horseback riding. And we did that horseback riding in Pigeon Forge. And for my kids, for them, that was the highlight of the trip. They've been horseback riding before and they love it. And on this horseback riding trip, I want to say they were about, it was a 3-mile journey or trail that they went through. My kids got to go on that trail 2 to 3 miles, and they just loved that trip. They couldn't stop talking about the horseback riding for the entire time, actually. They said some of the horses did give them a little bit of a hard time. Sometimes they wanted to do their own thing, and I think they were on the last trail of the day, so the horses by this time were pretty tired. So, you know, grace had to be given to the horses, especially since, you know, we went kind of later in the day with the horses. Gatlinburg is definitely a spot that I would visit again. Once I finish up with this pilot's license, it's a spot that I want to actually fly to. You know, I've flown there in the flight simulator, but I actually want to fly there in real life. Hopefully they'll have the Gatlinburg airport situated by then. At the time of this filming, their runways are closed, but hopefully, you know, by the time I get my license and I'm ready to fly there, their runways will be open and I can experience flying into Gatlinburg, landing there, and just going to sightsee again, do some of the things that I didn't get to do. But that's my hope, and you know, hopefully I'll get there one of these days. But once again, thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for some more videos.